this video, we're going to talk about switch statements in Go. So let's open up our IDE. In this case, I'm using GoLang. Now I've already created a project. It's called switch statement. I have my main.go file, and then I've already put package main and func main into my main.go file, and that lets the Go compiler know that this is going to be an executable file. Now what I want to do for switch statements is I want to supply a word to a function. I want that function to find my word, and then I want to reply based on the word I was given. So let's create a function. I'm going to call this function reply. My reply function is going to receive a word, and it's going to be of type string. So now we have our func reply. It receives a word, and our word is type string. So let's talk about switch statements. Switch statements are a lot like if statements, or if else, or else if. We supply our switch statement with a piece of information. We ask our switch statement to compare it against a bunch of different cases. Once it finds a case that matches, it stops what it's doing, it looks inside that case, and it does whatever the instructions say to do for that specific case. Let's go ahead and let's define a switch statement, and we do that with the keyword of switch. Now we want to provide our switch statement a piece of information. We need something to test against. In this case, we're going to use the word that our reply function receives. We're testing for this word. After we've supplied our word, we need to do some comparisons, and those comparisons will happen inside of these curly braces. Let's create a few scenarios where we test our word against a use case. So in order to create a test case, we can just use the word case. And now we want to test our word against this first case. In this first one, I'm going to use the word gophers. So I'm going to test the word that we received against the case. Does it match the word gophers? If it does, we'll add a colon right here. Now in any case where the word that we received right here matches gophers, I want it to do something. Whenever it matches gophers, let's do a print to the screen or a print to the terminal, and we'll say fmt println. Now you'll see my IDE saw that I went ahead and used this fmt package. It automatically imported it for me. If you're using a different editor or a different IDE, make sure that you import this fmt package up here. Now we've received a word. If it matches the case of gophers, we're going to print something out to the screen. And we're going to print, let's go gophers. Now we can also test against other cases. Let's say if our word matches Scriptster, let's tell it to do something different. If the word matches Scriptster, let's fmt println, and if it matches Scriptster, we'll say subscribe now. If our case matches, we'll do GoLang for our IDE. We'll tell it to say fmt println GoLang is an awesome IDE. Cool. So we have these cases, and we have our word. If our word matches the first case of gophers, let's go gophers. We're going to print that out to the screen. If our word matches the second case of Scriptster, we're going to print out to the screen, subscribe now. If our third case matches GoLang, we're going to say GoLang is an awesome IDE. Now the last thing we can do is we can actually provide a default. What happens if the word that we receive doesn't match any of these three words? Well, we can tell our switch statement that by default, if you don't match any of these, just go ahead and let's just print something out and say no match found. Let's test out this switch statement now. So we're going to call our reply function, and we want to supply it a word. And our word is going to be, let's supply it a word that doesn't exist. We'll just say hello. So what we're anticipating is our word of hello is passed down to this reply function. Our switch statement says, I have this word, it's hello. It goes to this first one and says, hey, are you hello? No. So it skips right over all this. Comes down to the next one, it says, hey, do you match hello? No. It's going to skip right over all that. It'll come down to this third one. Do you match hello? No. Go down to the next one. We don't have any more, so it says, You don't match anything. We have nothing for you. Go ahead. This is the default. If we don't have a match, go ahead and just reply with no match found. So we're expecting to see on the screen, no match found. Let's go ahead and test that out. Go run main.go. No match found. Exactly what we expected. Now let's test what happens if we use GoLang. So this time we're supplying GoLang. So it should skip Gophers. It should skip Scriptster. Let's try. GoLang is an awesome IDE. Cool. Let's try out these other two. We'll do Scriptster. Let's run that. Subscribe now. And Gophers. Let's go Gophers. Awesome. So we're supplying a test case. In this instance, we're using a word. It could be anything. It doesn't have to be a word. It could be a number. If the number is 2, do something. If the number is 84, do something else. If none of the numbers match, go ahead and do something else completely different. Now, if you're coming from another language, you might be used to switch statements that can have multiple matches, meaning maybe this case of Gophers is listed twice down here. In Go, once we have a case that matches, we're done. There's no second match. So you don't actually have to supply this word of break to let the case statement know to stop. Once we find our first match, we're going to do whatever that case says to do, and then we're done. It's never going to go down to the next one or the next one. So that's actually really important to know. Maybe instead of a word, let's change this out a little bit. Maybe we're testing for an integer. So let's change this to int, and we'll say we're going to receive a number. All right. Now let's supply a number here. Let's say our number is 24. We'll get rid of this. We're not testing for a word anymore. We can actually do our comparison right here for the case. So if we get rid of word, we're doing a switch with no condition. And now we want to test for something. We could say number less than or equal to 50. We just did a switch with no condition because we're not looking for an exact match. If our number is less than 50, go ahead and print let's go Gophers. Now, a minute ago, we said these happen in order. So if the second case is number less than or equal to 25, well, that's a head scratcher because if the number is less than 50, it's automatically less than 25. But these get executed in order. So this number less than 50 is always going to execute whenever the number is less than 25 as well. So this number less than 25 is never going to get hit. And then we could have another one. We could say number less than or equal to 10. Let's just pretend our number comes in, it's 24. All right, let's run this. Let's go Gophers. So we got a number of 24. We come down here to our switch statement. It's a no condition switch statement. We come to our first case. Is the number provided less than or equal to 50? Yes. Go ahead and print let's go Gophers. But if we look at our next one, case number is 24 less than or equal to 25. Yes. Order of operations is kind of important. In this instance, we probably want to move this comparison in the order that makes sense. Because our number is less than 50, our number is less than 25, this order of operations doesn't really make sense. So if we wanted to have it make a little more sense, we can copy that out. Let's put that up top. Now let's copy this one out. And we'll put that after 10. And then let's get rid of these spaces. Okay, so now let's read it. Our number's 24. Is our number less than or equal to 10? No. Our number's 24. Is it less than or equal to 25? Yes. So we'll execute this fmt println because our number is less than 25. It's never going to run this last one now, our case number less than or equal to 50. And then we have our last one of default. Now, if we supply a number, we need it larger than 10, we need it larger than 25, and we need it larger than 50. So if we supply a number of 51, it's not going to match this first one, it's not going to match this second one, it's not going to match this third one. So we're anticipating hitting the default of this last one, no match found. Let's try it. Just like we thought, no match found. Now, let's just try 50. We should see this let's go gophers because we're saying less than or equal to 50. So our number's equal to 50. Let's see if we get let's go gophers. Awesome. One last thing I want to do here is we have a decent amount of code duplication. We're doing this fmt println, fmt println, fmt println, fmt println. I think we can clean this up a bit. If we move this fmt println up to here to our main function, and we just return, we have a reply function, return whatever we want to reply, I think we can cut back on all this duplication of our fmt. So let's come up here, let's do fmt println, and we'll say reply, and let's do a reply, and we'll give it a number. So as of right now, we're getting this little squiggly, reply 50, used as a value, but it returns nothing. So we need to tell our function down here to return something. In this case, we're going to return a string. Okay. Now let's get rid of all of these FMTs, and let's just do return, and GoLang is an awesome IDE. Let me get rid of these parentheses, and we'll do return. Let's do this one, return, and let's do this last one, return. So now we're going to execute our reply function. We're sending it a number of 50. We've just reduced our code by pulling this fmt println out to our main function and executed our reply function within it. We jump down here, we say 50, we pass our number. Is our number less than 10? No. Go to the next one. Is our number less than or equal to 25? No. Go to the next one. Is our number less than or equal to 50? Yes. Return this string right here. So it should say let's go gophers. Let's try it. Cool. So it did exactly what we thought. We could even have our case execute another function if we wanted. If we wanted to, we could come down here. Let's just create another function just for fun. Let's see. Func. We'll call this the fun function. It's not going to receive anything. It's just, we'll just print something out. fmt println. We'll do switch statements are awesome. All right. And then if the number is less than or equal to 50, let's execute this fun function. So it should print switch statements are awesome, and then it should return let's go gophers. Let's see. Switch statements are awesome, let's go gophers. That's pretty cool. So you can call as many functions inside of here as you want. You can return something if you want. As you saw earlier, we just did our fmt println inside of our case. The options are almost endless with this. So get in here, get your hands dirty, try a couple different scenarios with these switch statements. If you feel like you learned something in this video, hit the like button. I'm going to be posting more with these GoLang tutorials. So if you haven't already, go ahead, subscribe, hit the little bell icon so you get notifications, and I'll see you in the next video.